A machine was pulled from a Mediterranean shipwreck in 1901. It was corroded, broken, and fused into lumps of bronze and rock. Then researchers looked inside it, and what they found has been called the oldest computer in human history. A machine built more than 2000 years ago, designed to track the sun, follow the moon, and predict eclipses years before they happened. But that creates a question far more important than how the machine worked. What kind of civilization could have built it? Was this the work of one Greek genius? Was it inherited from an older, more advanced civilization? Or there was once a technological world that history failed to preserve? Well, we have the machine. So let us follow the evidence inside it and find the civilization that made it possible. Let's start with what actually survived. 82 fragments were recovered exactly from a Roman-era shipwreck near a small Greek island called Antikythera. Together, they represent roughly one-third of the original object. Inside those fragments, researchers found around 30 surviving bronze gears. You turn a handle on the side, and those gears moved the sky. The machine tracked the sun. It followed the moon through its phases. It marked the months in which eclipses could occur. And it reproduced something even more difficult. The moon does not appear to move through the sky at a constant speed. It speeds up and then it slows down. The mechanism copied that movement using a small pin sliding through a slot between two slightly offset wheels. As the handle turned, the bronze moon accelerated and slowed with the real moon above it. Someone had observed that movement, understood it mathematically, and then reproduced it mechanically before the birth of Christ. So the first question is obvious. Were people living 2000 years ago capable of making bronze gears? Well, the answer is yes. The Hellenistic world already possessed advanced bronze casting, mechanical instruments, water clocks, and complex machines. The metal is actually not the mystery. The machine itself proves that ancient craftsmen could cut the gears. The real mystery is knowing how many teeth those gears needed. A craftsman can cut 223 teeth into a wheel. But somebody first had to know why the teeth of the gear would have a number 223. And that number had been waiting for centuries. On the back of the mechanism, there was a dial divided into 223 lunar months. You follow that cycle, and eclipses begin to repeat after roughly 18 years and 11 days. Today, this is known as the Saros cycle. But the Greeks were not the first people to record it. Centuries before Antikythera was built, Babylonian scribes were already watching eclipses and preserving those observations into wet clay. Night after night, generation after generation, they created records long enough to recognize that after 223 lunar months, similar eclipses returned. The bronze machine, it came later, but the number was already waiting centuries in past. So the first fingerprint inside Antikythera is Babylonian, a civilization that gave the machine its memory of eclipses without ever building the machine itself. But one Babylonian number does not explain an entire device. The second fragment is carved directly into the mechanism. When you look clearly at the machine, it has names for the months. Pechon, Paini, Epiph. These are Egyptian months written in Greek letters. The machine used a 365-day calendar connected to the Egyptian calendar system. So now the object contains Babylonian eclipse knowledge beside Egyptian timekeeping. Two older traditions preserved inside Greek bronze. But neither clay tablets nor the calendars can move. A number does not turn itself into gear. someone still had to take those observations and build a model of how heavens moved. That is where the Greek world enters. Greek astronomers inherited centuries of observations and began turning them into geometrical models. Meton connected 19 solar years with 235 lunar months. Hipparchus studied why the moon appeared to speed up and slow down. They were no longer only records of what had happened. They were attempts to explain the structure behind the movement. And once that structure could be expressed as mathematical relationship, a craftsman could express those relationships through gears. If one wheel had twice as many teeth as another, it turns at half speed. Connect several wheels and those ratios travel through the machine. So the whole numbers, actually they become the motion. So Antikythera did not require unknown mathematics. It did not require the modern decimal system or the computer code or some lost numerical system. The knowledge that was put inside the machine, that knowledge was already available to Hellenistic astronomers and craftsmen. And that gave us the civilization behind the machine. Not some isolated culture or a mysterious inventor, and not some unknown civilization that was erased from historical records. Antikythera came from the connected Hellenistic scientific world, a world linking the accumulated observations of Babylon, the calendar traditions of Egypt, and the mathematics and mechanical culture of Greek Mediterranean. So basically, knowledge of multiple civilizations, knowledge of multiple networks brought down the astronomy in a single box. But what exactly made that happen? That network is missing. And that is the civilization behind the machine. Not a single person. The observations existed, the models existed, the bronze technology already existed. So Antikythera was what happened when all those things reached one single workshop. And there is evidence that this workshop tradition produced more than one machine. So there is an account where a group gathered at the home of Marcus Marsilius. Among them is Gallus, and Roman statesman known for his knowledge of astronomy. Gallus brings out a captured Greek machine associated with Archimedes. He turns it. The bronze sun moves. The moon moves. The 5 visible planets move at different speeds at the different motion in one hand. And then the moon phases into the position of an eclipse. Inside a Roman house, a mechanical sky comes alive. It's also written that Poseidonus built another celestial machine in his own lifetime. These accounts, they don't prove that they were identical machines to Antikythera, but this proves that the idea of mechanical heavens was known to the people of Rome and Greece. Ancient people had seen such devices. They also remember who built some of them, which means Antikythera was probably not one impossible accident. It was the surviving product of a method. And that creates the final mystery. If the Hellenistic world could build machines like this, why only one confirmed mechanical computer survives? The answer may be far less dramatic than a destroyed civilization. Because bronze was valuable at that time. And when a machine broke or became outdated, its metal could be melted and used again. The wooden cases, they rot. Small parts were separated. Books survived only when someone believed that they were worth copying. And practical knowledge survived when a master taught an apprentice. A mathematical text can preserve a ratio. It cannot preserve every decision made inside a workshop. How thin could be the bronze? How should a badly spaced tooth be corrected? How should the gears be assembled without locking the entire machine? That knowledge lived inside people. It only survived while somebody continued building the next machine. The ancient writers even remembered books about this craft. Pappus of Alexandria preserved the title of a lost work associated with Archimedes on sphere making. a book about constructing mechanical models of the heaven. But no coffee survived. But the astronomical knowledge, that remained. The construction tradition did not. Look closely at Antikythera and you can still see the human chain that produced it. Researchers have identified two different engraving hands in the inscription. Two people worked over those bronze plates. Their marks remain visible after 2000 years. We can recognize their hands, but we will never know their names. And then there is the shipwreck itself. The mechanism was traveling among bronze statues, marble sculptures, glass, furniture, coins, and other valuable objects. Whatever its final destination, it was moving through the same world as luxury cargo. The sky had become fright. Someone valued this machine enough to transport it across the Mediterranean. And then the ship struck the rock. It sank. Wooden case decayed. The bronze corroded. But the sea also removed the mechanism from the world that might eventually have dismantled it and reused its metal. Antikythera survived because it never arrived. The one machine that failed to complete its journey is one machine archaeology preserved. And that makes you wonder how many others did arrive. How many others reached Rome, Rhodes, Alexandria, or other wealthy cities? How many were used, repaired, or finally melted down by people who saw valuable bronze but no longer understood the knowledge inside it? So here is the answer to the question we started. The civilization behind the mechanism, maybe it was not unknown. It was Hellenistic scientific world, a world that inherited Babylonian observations, Egyptian timekeeping, and Greek mathematical engineering. That civilization remains in our history books. What disappeared was its ability to bring all those traditions together inside one machine. Not a lost civilization, a lost craft, a chain of astronomer designers, metal workers, and apprentices that eventually stopped producing the next machine. Antikythera does not prove that the ancient world possessed technology from the future. It proves that history does not preserve every path human beings discover. Some form of knowledge continues. Others survive only as broken fragments inside a shipwreck. This is it from my side today. This is Harry signing off. Stay curious.